So it's worth taking a moment to talk specifically about the mobile web. The mobile web is the technology that enables us to provide this experience across all 2,500 devices that access Facebook every single month. It's the glue that holds this experience together across both high-end devices and low-end devices. In fact, our mobile website is by far the largest mobile interface that Facebook supports. It's bigger than Android and iOS combined, and twice as big as the next biggest interface. So if we're getting all this traffic from mobile web, and it's been so great for us, why hasn't the same app ecosystem grown around mobile web that's grown so successfully around native platforms? We've heard three pieces of feedback very consistently from our developers. First, app discovery. There's no app store for the mobile web, so there's no easy way for app developers to have their app discovered seamlessly by new customers. Second, technology fragmentation. There's rampant technology fragmentation across mobile browsers. So developers don't know which parts of HTML5 they can use to deliver their app to customers. And finally, there's no easy payment solution for the mobile web, in stark contrast to the native platforms, most of which have built-in payments mechanisms and stored credentials for almost 100% of their customers. At Facebook, we've tried to address the app discovery problem head-on with Open Graph. Now, if you build an app and you connect it to Open Graph, your app will get discovered by all 425 million people who use Facebook's mobile interfaces, across iOS, Android, and mobile web. Technology fragmentation and payments, however, are industry-wide problems. No single company can solve these problems by themselves. And that's why we're really excited to announce a number of industry-wide initiatives today to address both of these issues. First, with a number of partners in this room, we're taking on mobile web standards. HTML5 sounds like one technology. It's certainly marketed that way. But if you look at 100 different devices, you'll find 100 different versions. Does the browser support camera access? How about hardware acceleration? Does it support DRM? If we're able to define a single standard and have that standard consistently implemented across devices, developers will know the size of the addressable market that the mobile web represents. And if this technology standard is applied across all of your devices, that would be a huge market. We started talking about this problem with Samsung late last year. And as we expanded the discussion to other partners around the industry, we were delighted with the level of interest we got. We are announcing today, with all of these partners, spanning OEMs to operators to semiconductor companies, browser makers, and tool makers, a new W3C community group called Core Mobile Web Platform. The goal of this group is to author and evangelize and prioritize HTML5 and mobile web standards. As mobile phones evolve over the next few years and we add more and more capabilities, this group will be the forum that we can channel the voices of our developers, so we can prioritize the features that really matter for mobile web applications, so we can get all of the apps in our platforms that we want to see. But we're pragmatic. We know that standards are only as good as their implementations in the field. So we're also introducing a mobile standards test suite called Ringmark. Quite simply, Ringmark tests how closely a mobile web browser tracks these HTML5 standards. We plan on contributing this test suite back to the group so that we can keep ourselves honest and measure quantitatively not only the standards that we're producing, but how well they're being implemented in the field. We've written hundreds of tests, testing basic things like CSS3 support to sophisticated things like WebGL, DRM, adaptive streaming. As a developer, if the phone your customer is using passes the Ringmark test suite, you know your app will work for that customer. And as an OEM or operator, if your device passes the Ringmark test suite, you know that the thousands of apps written to target these standards will work on your device. Our hope is the combination of a robust standards process and a robust test suite will mean that every smartphone being produced supports the same consistent and complete HTML5 implementation without a viable business model for developers. And that means payments. Right now, the payments experience on the mobile web is just broken for end users. Even with operator billing support, on today's implementations, most require a step called SMS device verification. So that means if I'm in the middle of a game and I want to purchase something as small as a 99 cents level of my game, I have to wait. And wait for an SMS to arrive to verify that this device is in fact attached to my account. And then if I manage to make it through that process, I have to awkwardly memorize the code that was just sent to me, type it into a text box in my browser, and resubmit the transaction. And if I manage to make it this far, I can go back to playing my game. Most customers don't make it this far. And it turns out, even this experience is difficult for developers to do. If your app exists in more than one country, you have to sign partnerships with hundreds of companies and integrate with hundreds of APIs to support operators across the world. And you have virtually no ability to customize the user experience for your application, which produces a really bad user experience. And that's why today, we're very excited to announce partnerships with operators around the world to improve both the user and the developer experience around operator billing. By partnering, we're going to be able to eliminate the SMS verification step for the vast majority of customers. And we're going to be able to provide an SDK that will enable developers to get global reach with very, very simple technical integration. And that way, payments on the mobile web can be what it should be. A single step to confirm the purchase. We think this experience can be as good or even better than the native platforms. And by having a great developer experience around billing, we'll be unlocking the business potential of the mobile web, which will incentivize the creation of the mobile web ecosystem we all want to exist. So despite the incredible amount of work we have to do to make the mobile web great, I'm extremely optimistic. In all of my years in the industry, I haven't seen such a coordinated effort across so many segments of our industry.